Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories and information we read today can be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native American news sources. A 54-year-old Wolf Point, Montana man accused of stabbing another man to death during an argument pled not guilty this week to second-degree murder. Harold Dupree appeared in federal court in Great Falls for the death of 35-year-old Eric Welch. He faces up to life in prison if convicted. Jose Figueroa, public safety director of the Fort Peck tribe, says Dupree and Welch were involved in an altercation in an alley on the west side of Wolf Point shortly before midnight on June 21, 2008. Welch died from a single stab wound to the chest. Before the indictment, Dupree was serving jail time for a separate tribal offense. He's now being held at the Cascade County Detention Center. The Wyoming Coalition for Open Government has joined the chorus of voices seeking information on how 3 northern Arapaho girls died last summer. The group recently submitted a request to Fremont County Coroner Ed McCausland for the autopsy reports of 13-year-old Ohitike Wynn Alexis Gardner, 14-year-old Winter Rose Thomas, and 15-year-old Alexandria Whiteplume. McCausland last week denied the group's request. He cites federal law restricting release of records related to juvenile cases in federal court. The girls' bodies were found last June at a tribal housing complex south of Riverton. The FBI has handled the investigation because the girls were on the reservation. Neither the FBI nor federal court officials have released information about the case. The National Council of the Muscogee Creek Nation in Oklahoma has sued the tribe's chief in a dispute over control of casino money that had been overseen by local communities. Principal Chief A.D. Ellis has issued an executive order on February 27th that prevented 6 individually charted American Indian communities in the tribe from controlling any casino funds. In the order, Ellis said he wanted all the tribal communities to benefit from the gaming money, and he directed the revenue to go to the tribe's central government. The council responded by calling an emergency session earlier this week and suing Ellis, declaring that he had acted outside of his bounds. It wants a judge to throw out Ellis's order and issue a permanent injunction to keep Ellis from having control of the gaming money. Ellis earlier filed his own lawsuit asking for accounting of all the finances. Ellis's suit also asked a judge to issue an injunction against interference or spending of casino money by the community organizations. Both suits are scheduled to be heard on March 17th. The chairman of the Little Shell Chippewa of Montana said council elections held up for months by a political dispute will take place on May 9th. The election had been scheduled for November 4th, but was canceled after the 7-member tribal council barred 4 candidates from running. Chairman John Sinclair said the barred candidates, all former office holders, still are not eligible to run. He said a tribal court may be formed to settle the issue. Meanwhile, a splinter group, the Little Shell Chippewa Alliance, is asking members if they want the alliance to host an alternative election. John Gilbert, a former chairman and organizer of the group, said he will know by March 21st if another election is desired. The estimated 4,500 Little Shell tribal members have no reservation and are spread through northern and central Montana. The tribe is recognized by the state of Montana, but has faced decades of delays from the U.S. Bureau of Indian Affairs over the Little Shell request for official federal recognition. American Indian farmers lost some $500 million as a result of loan discrimination at the Agricultural Department over the past 3 decades. Plaintiffs in a class action lawsuit said this week. They said they're ready to go to trial to prove it, but have hopes that President Barack Obama's administration will look favorably on a settlement after strong resistance from the Bush White House. We've listened to rhetoric for 10 years now, said Clarissa Mandan of North Dakota, who with her husband is a lead plaintiff in the 1999 lawsuit. We would like to see these words translate into action. She and other plaintiffs point to a 1999 settlement by the USDA reached with black farmers under President Bill Clinton just 2 years after that lawsuit was filed. The government has paid damages of $980 million in that case, even as it fought the Indian lawsuit in court. Like their black counterparts, Indian farmers and ranchers say local USDA officials tried to squeeze them out of business by denying them loans that instead went to their white neighbors, and by refusing to restructure loans in bad years as was done for non-natives. And economists said Indian farmers have lost out on more than $14 billion in loans from 1981 to 2006. Two Native American leaders in the state of Washington have been ordered to pay $9.2 million in restitution for contraband cigarette sales. The terms of plea bargains were accepted this week in the federal case of Henry and Allison Gottfriedson. They also face 5 years on probation and must perform 240 hours of community service. The Gottfriedsons operate Frank's Landing Indian Discount Tobacco near the mouth of the Nisqually River. They admitted selling more than $20 million worth of contraband cigarettes over 6 years, cutting Washington state out of millions of dollars of tax revenue. Some of the profits went to an Indian school and a nonprofit social services organization. The Gottfriedsons gained prominence in battles over fishing rights during the 1960s and 70s. Allison Gottfriedson is a former member of the Puyallup Tribal Council. The Oneida Tribe of Wisconsin is investing $4 million in its conference center and casino in Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin. The renovation at the Radisson Hotel and Conference Center and Oneida Bingo and Casino includes a new high-stakes area and expanded lounge, as well as a redesigned buffet that will include 4 stations with cuisines from around the world. While the bleak economy has cut commercial gaming nationwide, experts say gambling in the Midwest has remained fairly steady. Assistant gaming manager Eric McClester said the renovation will keep the casino competitive as it celebrates its 15th anniversary this coming August. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank our underwriters for helping us with this broadcast. Stay tuned and come back again soon.